Well, I'm in heaven, guys. Silverton, Colorado. It's fall. I mean, just look at that backdrop. Fucking amazing. This is what I live for every year. Leaves are turning. I'm on the $1 Million Highway. Spent a couple days in Silverton. We're going to see what this town is like. We're going to talk to the people. We're going to hopefully not lose the drone this time, and I think you're really going to like it. So hit that subscribe button. I'm the Western Nomad. I go to places like this, so I'm pretty blessed, and I want to bring all these sights and sounds to people who've never seen this part of the country before. If I can inspire someone to come out here, you know, if they've seen one of my videos and they go, man, I never knew Colorado had a place like that, that'd be the ultimate compliment. But until we reach that point, I'm going to keep filming, and my God, it's good to be alive.
Caught behind Venetian blinds, out of reach for the city lights. This ain't where I belong. Hey, look at me, man, what I've become. I've been running east, looking for some.
Welcome to Silverton, Colorado in the fall. Isn't it beautiful? This is a town I passed through last year, and I thought to myself, I have to come back here and spend more time. So that's what I did. And I'm glad I did, because I came at the right time and everything was peaking, as you can see here. Just driving down from US550, it was breathtaking. So there's a lot to know about this town. It was basically established in 1874, but in 1873 the U.S. government kind of came in and said, hey, we like the land, we like the surrounding materials in the land, and hey, you Indians, get the hell out of here. So they basically kicked them out in the Brunot Agreement of 1873, and that opened up a lot of settlement, and people kind of started flooding in and developing the towns with brothels and hotels, and miners had to come here and have their fun. So it's a very old western town, and it's just surrounded by the most breathtaking mountains I think Colorado has to offer. Right here you're seeing the Alpine Loop, which we'll get into later in the video. I could do a whole video on the Alpine Loop, but it's too long and I didn't have enough time. So we're going to talk to two ladies who own an art collective in town, and one of them has been there since the 1950s, so we're going to get a good perspective from them and hear their stories. So sit back and relax. This is probably my favorite area in Colorado. So what shop is this? Are we in here? What's the name of it?
This is the 9318 Collective.
Okay.
It's a local arts collective. We have about 20 local artists in our shop.
Very cool.
Kim Eisner, she's one of our favorites and has been in Silverton for how many years now?
Oh, since 1950s.
1950?
Early 50s.
What was it like back then in the 50s?
It was great. It was
Right.
very interesting. Much smaller town. And the town had just closed, and the Bahrain's, so it was in a transition.
Right. When did the tourists start coming and slowly changing things?
At that time, that 1950 time, because my dad and mom came here as tours looking for property, and so I'm still here.
Very good. What's it like living in like this, such a rural community? Like, I'm assuming people are very nice. They look out for one another. What are some of the challenges of living out here?
Snow.
Right.
But people are very friendly, and we're all interested in each other and what we're doing, so that makes it a lot easier.
Very good.
Yeah, for sure.
If someone's visiting, they've never been here, where should they go? What should they do? Any suggestions?
Besides coming to the art gallery,
Besides coming to your beautiful art gallery?
Make sure to go to the museum.
Tell me about the history of Silverton.
absolutely. It was an old mining town that started in 1874. And so we had a lot of miners and a lot going on for what we call prospectors, because they didn't own the land until 1874.
Okay.
So once the land was actually owned from the Indians, so then we could actually have business that were coming to town and want to develop the town.
Okay.
Develop mines and that sort of trying to in 1882. That's when that big hotel was built.
The Imperial.
Yep, it's the only 3-story.
You gotta house all those miners.
Yep.
And their rowdy behaviors.
Yes, it was great fun. So on the side that the hotel is on, and behind the hotel, is a very nice part of town with big houses, the library, the church, and the school, big school. And so that was that side of town. Then on the other side of town was the red light district.
Oh, okay.
So we had a lot of interesting
Separated.
things going on, a lot of bars back at that time,
I
because there were
bet.
many miners and they got to come into town about once a week. So that's what that might be.
So the Imperial Hotel was just a big brothel back in the day?
No, it was a
It was real hotel? Okay.
A real hotel.
Just checking.
Over on that side.
Yeah, there in the red light district.
Red light district.
Like, how much, do you know, like, the median price of a home? If you want a mountain home out here, like, how ridiculously expensive is it?
It's gone way up, I guess so, all over the country, but certainly here also. So
Right.
the houses are in the
Millions.
200,000.
200. Okay. That's actually not bad for a mountain town.
Well, not too bad.
So, okay. Anything else you want to add about the town, or why you like living here, or anything
It's
else?
like the people that are here and the views, and to be able to paint in this area is just like an
It's an artist's dream, right?
absolute.
Yeah, not a bad place if you're an artist. Plenty of inspiration out here. So there's lots of mountain towns out west that have inspired, famous artists and literary giants. So, these are places that captivate the imagination and light up the soul, and it's just perfect for all sorts of people, especially the creative types. But we're going to go to the Alpine Loop now and see me have fun with ATVs. On the Alpine Loop, trying to get on the Alpine Loop, took a lot of fun stage gearing as well. I don't follow paper maps too well. I grew up on Google Maps, but check out what's in front of me. This is one of the most scenic loops you can do in Colorado, and it's a perfect time to do it, late September. Everything's peaking, it's gorgeous. Angle today. Don't lose drone, get awesome footage, and don't fuck up this camera. So this is the famous Alpine Loop, and it's basically like 2 loops in southwest Colorado, and they connect the towns of Ouray, Silverton, and Lake City, and you can start in any of those cities as far as I'm aware of. And you really should rent an ATV. If you have a 4Runner or Jeep, you can do that. I mean, plenty of people do. You just have to know what you're doing. You're gonna have to deflate your tires and have knowledge of how to operate in this terrain. But I went ahead, rented an ATV for half a day. It was probably like 4 hours, and those 4 hours went by super fast. And trying to film this and actually enjoy the Alpine Loop was somewhat challenging. But as you can see, it's just breathtaking, this route, and it takes you through the heart of the San Juan Mountains with these just amazing vistas that you can really only get if you're going off-road. You know, the $1 Million Highway is beautiful, plenty of beautiful paved roads in Colorado, but if you really want the true alpine experience of Colorado, you gotta do the Alpine Loop. People from all over the world come just to drive this thing, and there's plenty of ATV companies you could rent. And the main reason why I wanted to do this is to get to this Animas Forks Ghost Town, which is a ghost town I've always wanted to visit, and it's definitely been a bucket list item. And really the only way to get there is with a 4x4 vehicle. So enjoy this footage. So Animas Forks, basically gold and silver was discovered here in the early 1870s, and prospectors began establishing cabins and small mining claims around 1873 through 1875. And in 1876, the town kind of took form. And, you know, you go to these places and you have to use your imagination. This would be the equivalent of, you know, what downtown Silverton was like. I mean, there were saloons here, living quarters, everything you would need, you know, as a base camp to get to the surrounding mountains. So the fact that they could actually build some kind of infrastructure at this high of an altitude is amazing to me. And, you know, during the winters, you know, this was a tough place to be. And they would actually build snow tunnels between each of the cabins in the winter to get from one cabin to another. What I really like about Silverton is, you know, the journey to it. So just driving into this mountain town, you get a real sense of how remote it is, and you go on this little shelf road here that, you know, is somewhat sketchy, but you know, it's all providing the backdrop to what you're going to experience. And once you go around that bend and you see all the trees and their vibrant colors and the sun peeking through in the background, you know, you're just filled with anticipation as to what will unfold as you continue to drive. And this is why I love being in Colorado. This is why I've invested in dash cams and believe that some of the best sights in Colorado are experienced in a motor vehicle. And this US550 into Silverton, it's everything you want in a high alpine road, and just leads into this cute little old western city, and it really is like going back in time. And you know, the big draw with Silverton was the arrival of the Durango and Silverton narrow gauge railroad, which I believe was completed in July of 1882, and this provided freight and passenger service, which was really crucial to the economy at the time, because you have to understand that, you know, we were looking at Animas Forks, which is, you know, several miles outside of town, and then you have Silverton itself. You know, you have to think, how did they get all that material that they mined out in those remote areas, you know, somewhere else to where they could sell and trade it and get the money. So in towns out west, the main theme is the railroad. And you know, if you saw my Pacific Northwest series, the Northern Pacific that ran through Spokane was a huge game changer for the area. And now the Durango and Silverton narrow gauge railroad is this huge tourist attraction that really draws people in, and that's why they know of this town. And that railroad goes through just a gorgeous, like, canyon gorge. I have not rode on that. That is on my bucket list, but you know, I've seen the video and the pictures, and it's just gorgeous. So getting to Silverton's great, but the journey into Silverton is just as magical. And as they say, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And spending 3 nights here in this old Imperial hotel, you know, you really are experiencing what it was like to not have modern amenities, to have an old shower, a bed with, you know, that feels like you're on a box and has zero support and could collapse at any second. That's all part of the experience. So disconnecting from the world in a sense and going back in time is what I feel people who live in Silverton want you to experience. And where else can you get that? Only a couple other mountain towns out west. A lot of the mountain towns, especially the resort towns, your experience is going to be nothing like this. And that's why I chose Silverton, because I think it's unique and it's authentic. And those are the towns I want to share with my audience. I think those are the towns that have the real magic and charm. If you like this video, drop me a comment. If you don't like this video and I've gotten any of the history wrong, please correct me. And I can't say enough good things about Silverton, Colorado, and the $1 Million Highway. This is the place to be during the fall. Well, my trip has finally come to an end here in Silverton. It's been absolutely amazing. Fall, everything's peaking. This is the place to be. I love Silverton. Could be just my favorite mountain town in Colorado. Hit that subscribe button. Man, it feels good to be alive. I live for this kind of stuff. I'm going to be going to West Virginia next week, so we're going to see what the rednecks in Appalachia are up to, but it doesn't get much better than this. Thanks for your support, guys. Thanks for watching, and keep wandering.